Welcome everyone to another video, and in this video we're going to be featuring some battles where I used Rayquaza. Rayquaza, 2 seasons ago got Breaking Swipe, which is a really powerful move. It's basically a Dragon Tail clone with the chance, or not chance, 100% chance, not really a chance, 100% debuff uh, of the attack of the opponent. So it's a strict upgrade over Dragon Claw, and then pairing it up with Metagross and Ho-Oh. I'm not necessarily sure it's the best combination, but basically the logic is two Dialga Dragon, like Dialga answers in the back. But I ran into a lot of Dialga leads. Overall, I went 13 and 12, so it did not too bad, but not too great. But let's go ahead and get into the battles. We have Rayquaza into Metagross, not a great matchup for me, so I decided to switch out into my opposing Metagross. I do have Best Buddy, so I have the advantage over the opposing Metagross, but I am behind a turn. And usually people like to bait, and I think in EQ, I think I barely survived the EQ. So I decided to farm up here and then throw before they get to the second meteor mash, and they decide to shield, and they farm up very nicely here. Fortunately for me, I'm not sure they undercharge this or okay, I actually end up surviving and getting the move off, which is very nice for me. Does put it a little bit lower, which is fantastic. And then now I'm just gonna wait the clock, see what they have in the back. I thought it was gonna be like Zacian or something like that. I'm not quite sure. Anyways, they do reach a meteor mash, which is totally fine for me. And I farm it down, and they come into Giratina. I am going to throw the Brave Bird and then look to switch. And they anticipate the swap too, so they make a nice play here into Dialga. Plus, I was like debuff there, so it makes sense for me to switch, because even if I stayed in, I would have been in a pretty tough situation anyways. So according to PvPoke, you can win the 1-0, but that's only if they throw. Yeah, anyways, they decide to. I actually get the Dragon Tail, which is very nice for me. And I know they're gonna bait here. I know it. I know it's like 100% probability they're gonna bait, because it doesn't make sense for them to do otherwise. So I do throw the Sacred Fire, I should say, hoping for the debuff. And I do get the debuff, which means an Omnis Win wouldn't KO. So I debate no shielding this, but I think I'm gonna be able to outpace anyways. And I'm going to be able to take it out with this Brave Bird. So it worked out pretty nicely for me. Able to take out the Giratina. I'm curious why they didn't come Giratina into the Metagross. Maybe they wanted to take a shield advantage, or maybe they were worried that I had Ho-Oh in the back and they were trying to like save the Giratina for the Ho-Oh. So they were trying to like play the team comp as opposed to playing like as if it was like true blind 3. At this point in time, I was like, I don't know, like 10 battles in. So, or they were like making a prediction there. I'm not quite sure. So, anyways, I bowed this trainer this is my fourth time in 3 days. And I know what they're running. They're running Gear Double Dragon. So I'm actually in humongous trouble right now. And yeah, I'm in humongous trouble right now. So I throw here, and I debated shielding. Obviously, not very long here. They throw the Shadow Ball. I'm gonna wait the clock, but I know it's double like a Dialga in the back, so I have to try to sweep with. I had to try to sweep, so I farm down here. I should have stayed and through the Breaking Swipe, because they actually come into Dialga, which is a very nice play on their side. Because if I would have thrown the Breaking Swipe at the Dialga, then I would be in a much better situation. And I know this is an Iron Head. I know it. But do I have any? Yeah, okay. I decided to no shield there. But maybe I should have shielded there. I don't really know here, to be honest. There's not really too much play I can do here. Dialga with 2 shields, plus with no debuff there, like leaves me like almost no chance to win this game. I throw the Sacred Fire, which they're just gonna no shield because they can just sweep with Mamoswine. I do get one Incinerate off, but there's really no play for me here. Even if I Breaking Swipe, drop the attack, I'm still gonna get farmed down before it gets 2 moves. So Tough team comp there. I should have stayed and threw the breaking swipe. Even throwing the breaking swipe at the Mammo might have been worth it too, but it would have been a tough situation regardless. All right, Rayquaza into Kyogre, so this is a good lead for me, and they come into Dialga. I'm a little bit slow on the switch, so they will be able to make it to the potential Draco Meteor, which I do end up shielding. I need to control switch. They actually go for the Thunder here, and I throw the Sacred Fire. I am going to undercharge this, so I leave with a little bit more energy, and as well a little bit lower for the Kyogre to farm. I debate whether I should just throw the Brave Bird right away, so they reduce their farm. So they're at 2 right now. Maybe that would have been the smarter play, because these Incinerates don't do too much damage. And they throw the Surf, and then they come into Reshiram, which is very bad for me. I think okay, no, I don't stay for any amount of time. I will survive one Fusion Flare, especially debuffed. So getting off that Breaking Swipe was actually pretty nice for me. They decide to no shield, but I am going to try to fast move down. So if they overheat me, it probably KOs, but unlikely that they do. They throw the Fusion Flare, and they throw it again. I shield, and then I mostly shield just so I can get some fast move damage. And actually, I'm like, oh, maybe I can throw here so I can throw a move at the Kyogre. I don't know here. This is the appropriate play. They come back into Kyogre, but I'm going to be able to farm them down. Yeah, I'm going to be able to farm down here. And there's really, the opponent decides to leave at this point in time, so it's not really too much play there. Getting off that breaking swipe there put me in a very good spot. So, all right. Okay, this is a very challenging. This is actually this is the first time or second time? No, this is the second time. Okay, comes into Ho-Oh, which is super disastrous for me. So I just try to throw a good timing. Meteor Mash and Earthquake do the same damage because Earthquake is base 120, Meteor Mash is base 100, but it has stab, and they're both single resisted. So I throw another Meteor Mash. They decide to throw. They're going to land the Sacred Fire. I wouldn't be able to make it to another move anyway, so. And unfortunately, they're going to be able to make it to the Brave Bird. I have to let this go because I need the shield. I was actually hoping that they would survive that Dragon Tail so I get one Incinerate off, but I don't. And they come into Landorus, and really, there's like this is a very straightforward matchup for Landorus. I should just call the Stone Edge. I call the Superpower Bait. It's my only win con. There's no win con for me in this matchup. Yeah, there's no win con for me by shielding. Even if I get like 2 debuffs, and they throw an excellent timing. I go for the Brave Bird, but there's just no way. Even if I hypothetically catch the Stone Edge, which I try to there, even if I catch the Stone Edge, it doesn't matter because this Dialga can make it to the Draco Meteor, which is going to KO me regardless, even if I get the debuff. If it was a single move Dialga, maybe I have a chance there, but the Lando also has a Stone Edge bank, so really not too much play for me in that situation. Yeah, not too much play for me. And very well played by the opponent. Maybe if I had Psychic on Metagross. So anyways, this is a good lead. And they come into Zacian, which is obviously quite good for me. And they throw a little bit slow on the switch for me. I do have to, I'm going to farm up just a little bit more. Throw the Meteor Mash. It doesn't matter, it's going to KO because they're debuffed anyways. And they come into Giratina. I am going to try to CMP tie on the Ominous Wind, hoping that they would fall for it, but they did not. and I come straight into Rayquaza. I'm not going to shield. Obviously, they could have Dragon Balls, but I do expect them to switch out right away, which is why I switched out right away too. And they come into Xerneas. I do have to be careful of Xerneas having access to Thunder. It's very unlikely that they do, but I respect the potential Thunder. They throw the Moonblast. Likely they have Moonblast close combat, but the Thunder is always a possibility. No debuff. I throw another Sacred Fire at them. I'm getting quite low. I do get the debuff, which is very nice for me. I let this go because they're debuffed. They decided to throw the close combat at me. I thought they were going to switch, and they actually stayed in. They actually, not stayed in. They decided to switch out, hoping to catch the move or whatever. I'm not sure. Anyways, I'm going to throw the Aerial Ace. I don't have it Elite TM to Hurricane, which would be a better move in this situation. Mostly because I didn't TM it because it's gonna get Dragon Ascend for GoFest this year, so I didn't want to like have to spend like 3 elite charge CMs on and then have one of it be used up there, right? So at least that was my logic there. So go 3-2 there and pick up another good lead. It was like a good lead or bad lead. Very few neutral. I had to make a huge mistake here. I should have came Metagross into it. I don't know what I thought was there. I mean, all I saw was steel. Um, yeah, I can survive one. I should just no shield, take the shield advantage, and then yeah, take the shield advantage. I'm hoping for the debuff there. I get no debuff. I know shield this because I can survive. It does like 60% or something. It does quite a bit. Maybe if I did one Incinerate instead of throwing right away, I would have been able to beat them to the move here. I decided to throw the Brave Bird, hoping that they would give me switch, but I'm going to switch out into Metagross, and they come into Giratina, and this is a good game for me, unfortunately. Very well played by the opponent, but I definitely should have came Metagross into the Melmetal. It's kind of an awkward matchup because I have resisted bullet punches, super effective Earthquake. Um, but yeah, not really too much I can do here. Throw the breaking swipe into this Zacian. I try to catch the play rough, so I'd go. I think I switch at 4. And there's not really too much I can do at this point in time. So they're just they land the rock slide on me, throw the breaking swipe, but they're gonna get the play rough. Even if I had Hurricane, it only does like probably like 60% to the Zacian, so it wouldn't have been enough anyways. So mistake on my side. Yeah, mistake on my side. The Metagross and Melmetal matchup is very awkward because, well, maybe they don't have, maybe they have double Iron Bash, and that would have been a very straightforward matchup for me, but it's hard to say. All right, so this is actually wasn't as bad of a lead as I thought it was. So I throw the breaking swipe. Somehow I won this game, and it actually is an extremely close zero shield matchup. If they try to farm down, look, I just barely survived. They barely survived too, and then for some reason they decided not to throw. They definitely had the Stone Edge crunch or brutal swing, and they come into Mewtwo. I'm gonna look to catch the Shadow Ball because usually they go straight Shadow Ball because it is a good play on their side, and catch the Shadow Ball, and they come into Dialga. Unfortunately, I know I survived this. No, I don't know if I survived the Iron Head, but pretty likely I survived the Iron Head. And unfortunately, I don't survive the Dragon Breath afterwards. So I farm up to almost 100 energy, and I go for the Earthquake, expecting them to save the shields for the Mewtwo. And they come into Mewtwo, and this is still an extremely baity situation. The counts are very straightforward for me, but if they land the bait, so I call the bait. I guess I was at 3. So I called the bait, and now that I called one bait, I'm gonna be able to win the game no matter what. They're gonna say straight side strike me, but after calling that one bait, it's game over. Um, Maybe I would have won anyways. I don't know. Double bait there. They were dry, so they needed 16, two baits and a shadow ball to get to win there, and I needed what, like 15, 22, 20, like 22 minus 3, like 19. So they needed, okay, so they needed 16 at the minimum. I need 19 at the minimum. At the guaranteed win, they needed 20. So if they went straight shadow ball, I win there. They need to land one bait and they win there. So tricky situation there for sure. And obviously another terrible lead here. Switch out into Metagross and they come into Giratina. Try to CMP tie so that they don't overfarm. But they don't throw. Sometimes I shield this, which I do end up shielding. And then I try to go for another CMP tie, which I get this time. But they let it go. They let it go. And I throw the meter mash. Not that I expect them to shield. I just want the chip damage, to be honest, because I wasn't going to make it quick. They decide to switch here. I call the bait here. They end up actually thundering me, which is, super disastrous. Yeah, super disastrous for me. I guess if I shield that, I'd be in an okay spot. No debuff there, which is super bad for me. I need to make a catch. I don't know here. They're just going to straight sky attack me. Yeah. I was hoping that they're going to farm a little bit more. And then I make a catch. But honestly, I can't even Dragon Tail them down. Well, I guess I could Dragon them down beforehand. But maybe here. I don't know. Here, if I don't take the sky attack, I should probably still get Dragon Breath down. If I had outrage here and I threw the outrage, but the Lugia is still alive, so it's like really unlikely that I could win there, even if I make the catch. Tough situation there. But I had fun with Rayquaza. Still like really glassy, lots of Dialga leads, so I have Rayquaza into Reshiram. So I played this person at the beginning, so I threw a Breaking Swipe right away. As soon as I got to it, it didn't KO, so I'm gonna do 5, then throw at them. The 5 will force them to shield because the 5th Breaking Swipe plus the 5th Dragon Tail plus the Breaking Swipe is enough to KO. And they switch out into Dialga. So last time they baited me, so I shield this time. We kind of like play like my games here. So they Draco. I throw the Sacred Fire, and then I'm gonna undercharge. And they come into Giratina. They don't have a Stone Edge, so I wasn't too worried about them coming in. And I shield this because I have the move, and I expect them to switch out right away. And this works out really. I actually expected them to no shield here. I actually totally expect them to no shield. They actually end up shielding. Which kind of threw me off. And I come into Ho-Oh, and they throw the Stone Edge at me. But the Stone Edge doesn't really matter because they make it to a Fusion Flare anyways. But now that they're debuff, I survive the Fusion Flare. I easily survive it. I wouldn't have survived it otherwise. And then without the debuff, and then I'm gonna be able to make it to a meter mash and take out this Giratina. So played the same person the first time. They absolutely destroyed me, despite me having a really good lead. And just make adjustments on how you like learn to play out matchups. So that worked out pretty nicely for me. I believe this is the last battle I'm going to show off. But obviously, you can check out all my battles on twitch.tv/KingIV. All my battles are there for the season. And we have Rayquaza into Giratina. So a very nice lead here. And they come into Zacian for 5. They're at 5. I thought they were at 6 for some reason. So I should have did 3 more than throw. I should did 3 more than throw. Then I would have won. Did I win CMP? I probably win CMP. Anyways, they come into Giratina. And I do get the meteor mash, which is pretty nice, but I guess they would have got slightly less energy on the Giratina if I would have threw at better timing. And they throw right away, so I get the free Dragon Tail. Expect them to switch, and they come into Heatran, so it's actually a good switch on my side. The super baity matchup. They do end up baiting me on the first one. And the efficient time would be to do 1 Incinerate, then throw. No debuff. And they do 3, then throw. So they're in a very good spot here. I really should straight Brave Bird here. I should straight Brave Bird here, because I'm going to feign to a Stone Edge anyways. Yeah, if I Brave Bird there, then I would have made it to 2 Brave Birds. So it would have been a much more straightforward matchup for me. But I'm in a pretty good situation anyways, because they don't have that much energy anyways. And I'm going to throw a Breaking Swipe at them, which doesn't KO, but puts them very low. And 1 more Dragon Tail is enough to win the game there. So fortunate situation for me there. And I pick up win 2000 in Masters. So anyways, had fun playing Rayquaza. Let me know what you think of this team. I saw my fellow Canadian VB/Galvin run this team with Zacian with Quick Attack, Play Rough, and Wild Charge as a safe swap, which I thought was pretty interesting. And then with Heatran in the back. So I thought that was a pretty interesting team too. So anyways, Rayquaza definitely has some play. It's definitely very good in some matchups and kind of tough in other ones. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see everyone in the next video.